Hey guys, welcome to the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world 101 in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson. I'm back on the scene with a new artist. So this artist and this group have their own acoustic sound, and I love the mixture of music that they fuse together with the different influences of rock and some metal coming together that makes their own style very unique. And this is a great group to introduce as we are in a new year, 2023. So without further ado, help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Brian David Collins, music fan. Yay! Thank you so much, Brian, for being on the show.
Thank you, Ayasha. Thank you.
You're welcome. And can you tell us, how did you get started in the industry and what were your musical influences?
Well, I guess I joined the music industry when I was maybe 19 or 20. I mean, I remember I went to my first open mic in Fort Collins, Colorado when I was 19 years old, with just a few songs to play, some originals and maybe a couple of covers. At that point, I was really practicing everything that I was doing, and it was before I'd played. It was before I'd played a whole lot, you know, in the club scene where you if you hit the chorus, you know, people won't really notice the rest. But I was really very focused on polishing, you know, my work, and so I guess in 1999 I started performing out. As a kid, I played constantly, but was up in the mountains of Colorado where I didn't have much access to places to play until that time. So yeah, and then from there, I started playing, you know, in my young 20s. I started playing a lot of other places, and joined a jam band, Wasabi, at that point in time. But I guess I started recording music personally when I was 18 on an ADAT machine, but I didn't really release anything until much later.
No, that's great, because it seemed like you have a worldwide experience of your musical influence coming together. And because you were more in Colorado, which tends, I guess the part of Colorado you were in was more rural than other parts of Colorado, it actually allowed for you to really develop your musical talents and skills, even though you may not have all the influence and exposure as of other artists that may live in bigger cities or bigger towns. It really helped you shape you to be the artist that you are today. So that's a very unique talent. Now, I know that you said that you started studying music like at the age of 4 and writing and performing. And who were your influences growing up, like musically wise?
Well, I'll tell you, my parents had a very extensive record collection. So so, you know, when I was 4 years old, I started listening to Willie Nelson. Was one of the first people I listened to. And then I listened to Poco and the Eagles and Ozark Mountain Daredevils, all that country rock. And then as I got older, you know, and then maybe 5th, 6th grade, I really got into the Beatles White Album, the late Beatles, the more progressive Beatles. And then I started listening to Jethro Tull and Yes, and all the progressive British rock. So, you know, I have a lot of rock and roll and country influences, which are the main influences I have. But then I'd see movies like White Christmas, you know, and even singers like Bing Crosby it influenced some of my more mellow stuff that I released earlier in the Brian David Collins career. So yeah, there's so many genres of music that you can draw from. And
that's great. And there's so many depths of your own experience that you can draw from. And I think that's what makes your music so unique, and that's what makes your experience so unique as well. Can you tell us a little bit about, maybe list some of your challenges, maybe 1 or 2 of your challenges as an artist, And what are some of your success stories as an independent artist as well?
Um, I think the challenge of an as I think, and a lot of people would probably relate to this. To make a career out of music, I had to play what people wanted to hear, and I had to play a lot of covers. The challenge is to get recognized for your original compositions. And you can sing Bohemian Rhapsody at a brew fest and you have hundreds of people singing along to you. But will you ever have that moment where people do that with your own song? Well, I think that's the challenge, and making money with, being a millionaire as a musician. Well, that whole road is kind of dwindling for a lot of people. And, the online industry has changed the music industry so much. So what it's really about is, will I ever have that moment where I'm singing a song and it influences that many other people to sing, and we all sing in unison. Now, so some of the success stories I've had as a musician is I've made a lot of CDs. I've sold a lot of them at shows. I've gotten a lot of great feedback and some individual listenership, which so far it seems I get feedback from individual after individual, and still trying to figure out Spotify and how to rock that. And there's just a lot of there's a new world of music that I'm still trying to tap into. I'm trying to learn about music marketing, so because there are a lot of sync licensing companies that can get your music on the TV shows and other things where it can be heard. So I've had some success in the marketing of it and selling my CDs personally at shows, and moving people in that kind of a way.
That's great. Well, I mean, I like the fact that you're able to really talk about the realness of the industry, and also about your experience as well as an artist, and what has kind of motivated you to still create really good music. But also, it also humbles me to even hear from you that you're still learning as you go through the industry as well. Because I think sometimes we think that we get to a point where we don't need to know anymore about how things need to be. And like you said, this whole online community of music is something just so different than what we were doing 10 to 15 years ago. So that has a whole different beast and market. But the great thing is that you're on the 101 and 10, where so many people are going to be able to hear your story, and so many people are going to be able to find your music here on our interview. So let's talk a little bit about your songs. You have Sad Song, Glad Song, and The Old Road. What were some of your influences creating those two songs, and what was the creative process behind that?
Let me start with Old Road. Old Road, actually, to me, that was a little bit more of the sort of 1930s, 1940s kind of Bing Crosby kind of throwback, where I wanted real soft percussion. I wanted piano. I wanted cello. I wanted a real mellow sound. Old Road, I think, was one of the first songs that B Squared found. I wrote that song in the middle of the night, and my wife, we weren't married at the time. That was when our relationship was really new. She was sleeping in the bed, and I had my keyboard set up in pretty much right by the bedside, and I was singing real softly. I was singing, "Walking the old road, watching the same show. That's just got no use for me." And the song pretty much wrote itself. And when I was done, it was basically about release from all the relationships, all the learning experiences that I'd had in the past. not released from them like I never wanted to see those people again, but just released from the fact that I learned all my lessons and that I was ready to walk a new road.
Mhm.
And when I was done with the first rendition, she said, "You are on to something." She was kind of half awake, but she'd heard it. And she said, This song is really something." So it moved her, it moved me. I knew I wanted to release it. It's on my first EP, More Than Shadows. And then Sad Songs, Glad Songs was the fourth album that we made. And the title track on Sad Songs, Glad Songs is about, I woke up on the morning of February 28th, 2020. And for years, I had marveled at how Phantom of the Opera would be saying, "Ignorant fool, this brave young suitor, sharing in my triumph." And then, maybe a hip hop artist would be, talking about this guy done me wrong. I want to do whatever to him. So basically there was all these different ways that different genres of music express the same emotion, and some tried to be sophisticated, some tried to be primitive, some tried to, but it was the same emotion. So when I woke up that morning, I heard these lyrics in my head. "Now in every style of music, there's a song for every mood, and all the people of the world got different attitude. But we all have all feeling, and we need it fast and slow. That's why there's sad songs and there's glad songs in any place you go." And I went over to the piano and I started playing the melody of the vocal melody on the piano with the chords. And that song, you picked two songs that pretty much kind of wrote themselves, with the first draft, with just a little bit of tweaking. So that was another song that just kind of came out. And that's the final track on Sad Songs, Glad Songs, which is our fourth record. But it's, I don't know, since I was 15, I was thinking about how to express that. And finally, it just showed up in my mind one day. So it was very exciting morning. When I'm writing well, I'm just more excited in general. So.
Yeah. And you know what? I love the fact that the Old Road song is about, and to me, this is the way I interpret it, because one thing I think about music, it speaks to people differently. And if you're in a different place in your growth, is going to speak a little bit different to someone that's not in the same place. And I think Old Rose, for me, when I hear it, it's really about healing and releasing whatever, feelings that you have, but just healing from it and kind of moving past it. And I love that. And I love the fact that you were able to create two different songs that have two different types of energies and experiences that are so relatable and to people's lives. And that's why people need to hear your music. So 101 tenors, please go to BryantDavidCollins.com website, check out his music, check out his links, make sure you follow him. And Brian, can you tell the artists if they want to book you for a show, what is the best way of them to get in contact with you?
I would say you can email me, and that is B as in Brian, D as in David, Collins, COLLINS 11 at Gmail. If you want to text, I would give you the number for my wife, Dana Collins. Is 970-222-0914. And for a voicemail, I would leave my number, which is 970-412-0935. But you can contact us through the website, but an email, I'll probably see it quicker. So email, text, or voicemail, long story short.
And you know what, Brian, I just want to say, I see for you actually doing some musical theater for maybe the New York Symphony or something, because your music is just so creative, and I just feel like it's going to be used in different avenues in 2023. So blessings to you and your wife and your family. And guys, thank you for watching the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world 101 in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Stay tuned and continue to shine bright. Bye, guys.